I recorded video at my class yesterday for Pass the Pungra. Let's check it out and see how everyone got on. Whether you're at home or out and about, this is the latest Punjabi music, hints and tips to keep us thinking about exercising. If you're thinking, we don't have to show off all the time, but Punjabi music makes me want to move, then I see you and I'm here for you. Welcome to Think Pungra. Before I share the video, I want to touch a little bit on participation and helping everybody understand how I feel about participation and where this comes from. Some people, they need to cancel, sometimes last minute, sometimes 1 or 2 days before. And probably, in the early days, you won't necessarily understand what's important to me. So that's what I'm expressing. The most important thing to understand is that by signing up as a member, you are doing three things actually. One is you're committing for 3 months. So that's wonderful. Like your intention is in the right place. Like, I'm going to try and attend every single class for 3 months. I love that. Second is you're making it safe for me, because by everyone giving their membership, it means that if I went on a pay-as-you-go basis, then I would need to fork out my own money on certain classes when there's not enough people. So when it's simplified that the total capacity, 24 in this case, number of people, all pay a certain fee, it means that I can just focus on instructing and not worry like 1 week I need to pay a bit of extra money out of my pocket, all that sort of stuff, which I used to do in the past. And this is why I've created this 3-month membership fee. It's a simpler way to do it, and I can just forget about, everything. Just it's been paid for. We can focus on exercise. But then finally with that, by you paying, even if you don't come every week, you're enabling it. You're still giving your energy that other people can come every week. Like the obvious example of that is any guests that take your place, but just everybody. It costs money to hire this room. It costs money to, complete my continual professional development, all that sort of stuff. So by being a member, i.e. paying for 3 months at a time, you're enabling others. It's not just always about yourself. So we don't say these things out loud, but it's the reality of how the business of group classes works. So to me, that's the most important thing, that if you support this work, what we do, group exercise to Punjabi music, by signing up, and hopefully you would come as many weeks as you can, but by signing up, you're enabling it for yourself, for me, and for others. So there's more to it than just you coming or not coming. So that's what I want to say. And why I'm saying this is that different people can't come on different days for different reasons. So it may be like, for example, what happened yesterday. I won't say whose name it is because she may not appreciate me doing that, but had last minute issues in terms of childcare. So as young parents, of which I am one as well, I'm not that young, but my child is young. When our children are young, we have to make decisions at the last minute. So that's understandable. And I want everyone who's watching this or listening to this podcast to understand that, not every participant can make it every week. And we need to be understanding of that. And we should, that's very important. Last thing I'd want from anyone is to feel like, I didn't make it to 3, 4, 5 classes. People might not like me, and then I'm just not going to sign up. I don't want you to think like that. I want you to think long term. I want you to think when your children are 7, 8, 9, or when you've got other mechanisms in place to help you look after the children, like a husband, a grandfather, grandmother, they're not working anymore or stuff like that. These things will happen over time. So don't think just about the next 3 months. Think about 10 years, This is an exercise habit for you for a long period of time. So when your children are teenagers, adults, you'll still be doing this. I mean, many of the ladies, you can see their children are now adults, and they're the ones who are able to attend. Like Bolly Nuz, to a point, she does attend every week, but I know she knows you have to look after your one of your children, a few children and cats. But some of the mums, they are at a certain point in their life where they've got more predictability. They can attend pretty much every Sunday. And so for the younger mums, that's how you should think. You shouldn't think of it in terms of the next few weeks. Think long term. Get as much Bhangra in as you can and balance your childcare and other things. But then long term, you will eventually be able to have that predictability. So please think in that mind, long term. That's how I think, that this is something we should always be doing. So anyway, wanted to get that off my chest, and I hope that's helpful to participants, especially the young moms or anyone who feels like, I signed up, I'm not attending some classes, they might think bad of me. No, by signing up, you're helping us. So please keep signing up. Now, of course, I don't want people to sign up and never ever come, because then there's other people who would really like to come. So let's make your space available to them. But certainly, if you're able to come like 60-70% of the time, I think that's, even 30% of the time is reasonable. Let's get on to the video. So on this Pass the Pungra, the class voted to do one Pass the Pungra, just like last week I think was the same. I think doing two is better, but we did one again. I've got a little feeling people got confused because I said after this song, the one I did before that we recorded this video, we're going to do one Pass the Pungra. But then during the bit when I was teaching, the one before this, 3 or 4 people said to me, oh, was this Pass the Pungra? So that made me feel like when I was asking you to vote, you got a bit confused. Like some people got a bit confused. So every week I will ask you about 10 minutes roughly towards the end of the class to vote. Do you want to do no Pass the Pungra? Do you want to do one Pass the Pungra? Do you want to do 2 Pass the Pungra? And then you show your hands. And so if you want more time, meaning more opportunity for more people to do Pass the Pungra, you should vote for 2 Pass the Pungra. If you're just like this, I don't like this section at all, even when other people do it, then choose 0 Pass the Pungra. I don't think anyone feels that way, by the way. Everyone likes a little bit of a change, something a bit different. The energy just changes when we do Pass the Pungra. So I hope everybody likes that. So yeah, the vote was 1 Pass the Pungra. And I said, I'll nominate who's going to come first. So it's not the usual suspects, right? And I nominated Komal. So Komal didn't hesitate, which is great. And of course, if you hesitate and you're like, I don't want to do it, that's fine. But Komal went for it. And let's watch and see how she gets on. So I got the feeling Komal is like, she's at the front. She's used to doing a step like this. This is probably, I'm just, making an assumption. If we went to a party and Komal's there on the dance floor, I've got a feeling this is what she's doing. This is the sort of step. I've just got a feeling. So Komal, next time when you do this, you do the same step, but think like, how can I build up the level? So how do I do it where it's just feet with no bouncing? Because you're doing all 3, right? You're doing hands, feet, and bouncing. So you would come to the front, you would do just feet, then you would bring in hands, and then you would bring in bounce. But first time you've gone there and you've just kind of gone into your zone, which you can see from watching you. And then gradually over time, I think you're thinking like, what do I do next? I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure what to do. And everyone's looking like to help you out. Like, and I forgot, by the way, everyone watching that you weren't there. I said I'm going to nominate the Pass the Pungra, but what I meant by that was the first person that's doing it. And I think you could see like on Jagpreet's face, like, who's next? But I meant the first person doing it. So it should always be then Komal should choose someone. So I point that out and Komal's like, I pass it on. Hey, who's the brightest person in the room? Who's the most colourful person in the room? Polly again. Let's nominate Polly. But no, I wasn't having it. But Arim was ready. She was like, I'll charge forward. Here we go. And Arim went straight into a move. It's probably a bit too challenging for most people to get into because you were doing the bounce. You weren't doing hands, but you were bouncing straight away. So somehow I think you have to do this step in a way without the bouncing first. But yeah, most people, you can see plenty of people were getting into the move. All right, and then you bring in hands. The thing missing for me, Arim, is what I call the light and shade. So the levels. So ideally, what you want to be doing to make it more impactful for our heart, our VO2 max, all of that, is bring in intensity suddenly, the explosiveness, and that's not coming here. So ideally, you want to bring it down, like bringing down the bounce. Listen to the chorus. When the chorus kicks in, then pump up. Or at least if you're not going to do it to full level, you're setting everybody else up. But I'm seeing the same level, which is not high intensity intervals. So think about that for next time. Like, how do you incorporate high intensity intervals? I think you're thinking, maybe you're looking for help over on the side, like, where do I go with this? You've got to try something else, but then you thought, nah. It's interesting that you've done a leg raise as well. I think later on Indy does a leg raise. For this song, I don't think a leg raise works that well. I just want to point that's for everybody to consider. This song is more of a, it's quite a high impact song, you know, it's like got a lot of oomph to it. To me, this needs a heel to the ground, or it needs stomping. You know, it's like it's got a stomp feel about it. Leg raise is more like Shiv Jod songs. They're sort of, you know, they're a bit more, I don't want to say gentle, but they're more gentle than this. This is a deep Jandu song. It's like, you know, it's like got a lot of pounding going on. And I feel like that's what our legs should be doing. So something to think about. I know, just related to that, the music's not as powerful as we need, because with this venue, the main speakers are not working. So we're using a little box. So that could be one of the reasons why I'm not seeing, you know, pounding movement. So it's not entirely your fault, so to speak, but this is what this song makes me feel like it needs, you know, it needs that pounding kind of movement. Rani gets selected and she's quite happy. She's like, all right, I'll do it. This is another example, like Komal actually. I think Rani, you know, both Komal and Rani, what they've done, I think if we went to visit, you know, went to a party or something and they were there, I've got a feeling Komal's step, what we saw earlier, is that's what she'd be doing, and Rani, this is what she'd be doing. I've got this kind of feeling. So you're at ease with your steps and you've done them. So in the future, I'd like you to think about, okay, what can I do that is not necessarily the sort of steps I would do? And also, how do I make them intense? Because this is another example. I was watching this video earlier. This is another example, which is like the step doesn't feel as intense as the music to me. And you can start off the steps gentle, of course, but then how do you gradually increase the impact? You know, I chose a song which is got a lot of oomph to it. And like, you know, sometimes when I do this step, it's legs are raising hard and hitting into the ground. So it's not an easy step. And I think maybe, of course, Rani, you're not ready to do that sort of step yet. That might be in the future. As I'm watching around, is anyone else doing that? This is a commentary on participants. You know, if I was participating, I'd be really kicking my heel hard into the ground for this step, because it's just that sort of music. Oh great, so let's change it up. And I like how you started off with hands on hips, gradually bringing your hands. It'd be great to see you lift arms a bit higher as you gradually increase. But, then you try to go back to the step. And that was interesting. You're trying again, and I think you got embarrassed, or you're feeling like, how do I get back to that other step again? And you tried it for a moment, you got it there, you got it. And then Paulie gets nominated again. Paulie, you have to stand somewhere else. Wear black clothes. And then I think Indy's thinking about it. She comes forward. Right. I've watched this video, so I know where it's going to go. But Indy started off, because Indy, I think maybe you've thought, like, what steps does Ravi usually do for this type of song? So you've started off with heels, but it changes. So you've got heels into the ground. I like how you got your hands on your hips. I would recommend not bouncing here, but it's okay. We're quite late in the workout and people have got used to bouncing. But if you were early in the workout, I wouldn't want to put any bouncing on. But then I noticed Indy's feet your feet change. What happens is you're transitioning away from a heel into the ground. So it's what I call a single heel step, which is heel hits the ground. That turned into a kick where you're kicking in front, and then gradually turns into a leg raise. So these are three different steps that it's almost like you weren't sure which one, and you gradually kind of, your mind changed. And just like what Arim was doing, you're doing a leg raise, which feels to me like you're more comfortable with. And then gradually, I think you're thinking about, there we go, leg raise, and then you eventually, bring in arms. And then I think you know, and everyone knows. Right, fantastic. I love the cueing there. That takes confidence, because you're thinking, you heard people shouting and I was shouting 4, 3, 2, 1, and you're even doing the hand gestures, which takes a lot of confidence. It takes a lot of to just switch out of my legs are raising, my hands are doing, to keep going back and charge everybody to say, come on, we're 4, 3, 2, 1, we're going to go. So really well done on that. Yeah, I like it. So you've got the, it's sort of relatively intense. I've got a feeling if you stuck with the foot into the ground, you might achieve more intensity. And if not straight away, with time, you would. So, if I can, I'll demonstrate this song again next week. And I would love to show you all like how I do the steps with the foot, with intensity, and for you to try again. You don't have to use the same song. It applies to many songs. But it feels to me like a leg raise isn't the right sort of step for this song. Leg raise is more for like the Shiv Jyot songs like Palazzo and some Amrit Maan songs. But these Deep Jandu songs, they've got a little bit more, a bit more on a rocket ship. They need a bit of... I love the kick at the end, well done. But we ran out of time. Remember, the class majority voted one past the Pungra. Look, Gagan didn't get a chance to have a go, sadly. He was ready, he was all ready, he was like, come on. And I think at this point, here's the thing, at this point, many people, you can see it look on people's faces, that it's like, let's do another one. But everyone in the group may have time, because we're coming close to the end of the class. It's all about time. One of my jobs, as much as I know what to do with my legs and what to do with my arms, is to try to keep the class on time. I know with confidence that a bad sign of an instructor is someone who doesn't really appreciate the idea that we're coming to the end of the class. I've seen this. I've seen very, inexperienced instructors. You're like, all right, it's 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left, end of class, 5 minutes over, 10 minutes over, 15 minutes over, and the class is still going. Complete lack of comprehension for time. So that's not respectful to people's time. The class should finish on time, or like 1 or 2, 3 minutes. I think everyone's understanding of a few minutes late, but any more than 5 minutes and it's bad form. So I have to think about that, because from a safety point of view and to keep my license, I have to do the cool down. That's a very important part of the class. The cool down has to happen. So this is why many people might be like, still not sure. Why does he ask us to vote for 1 past the Pungra or 2 past the Pungra? Because there's only so much time. 1 past the Pungra lasts about 4 minutes, 2 past the Pungra lasts about 8 minutes. So there's only so much time. So I have to factor that in and think, okay, I still need to get the cool down in. So by this point, if people are feeling like, oh, I wish there was another past the Pungra, that's why you should vote for 2 past the Pungra. I asked you. So well done. Hope you found it interesting to watch this. I'm coming to the end now. Keep subscribed. Keep watching these videos on Spotify. Preferably, I like you to follow on Spotify, because then you could see other podcasts that I'm sharing, other episodes. Some of those are meditation or breathing technique ones. Some of those are keeping you up to date with new music. So I love the idea that you've got Spotify on your mobile and you touch it, you're keeping up to date with Bangla, the work that I'm doing. There's other podcasts as well. You should listen, or many of them not video based, but you should listen to some others I really think around nutrition and health. Just look around for them, and I'll make some recommendations every so often. If you're not attending these classes and you just generally would like to keep up to date, please come to bangla.fit, the website. Put your email address in, and I'll keep you up to date with things going on. And I'll just finish on saying this: there's only a few more weeks left. It's approximately 6 weeks left for this class at Dormers Wells. I'm moving my class to Alec Reed Academy for a whole bunch of reasons. And I know many people are hesitant about coming because they're thinking, it's a bit out of the way. I don't know if it's going to be good for me. I just want to remind you of something. When I started my classes in Southall, I used to live in Canary Wharf. Okay, I used to get on the train. I used to carry a whole bunch of lights, whole bunch of cameras, get on the Jubilee line, go all the way to Baker Street. No, I can't remember the journey actually, but somehow get to Paddington, get on the train from Paddington, go all the way to Southall Station, come to Beaconsfield Road, or walk all the way to Dormers Wells. Even when I hurt my leg, I had a meniscus tear and I hurt my leg and it was hurting for a year, and not for all of it, for about 6 weeks I was off. But for most of that, I did that, and then I'd get a bus or I'd get an Uber. I did that for many, many years, and then I physically moved closer to West London, partly because it gives me quicker access to Midlands, where many of my family are. Of course, it's not just for you guys, but a big contributing factor was for me to move closer to do this class. So I just want to point that out. I've adjusted my life to help make Pungra possible in West London. Just want you to think about that when you're thinking, I don't know, it's a little bit out of my way to get to Alec Reid. I'm going to try what I can to bring more classes into the area, and I hope that you will continue to be involved with Pungra and you will continue to help me drive this movement, exercising to Punjabi music. Until next time, keep thinking Pungra. Whether you're at home or out and about, this is the latest Punjabi music, hints and tips to keep us thinking about exercising. If you're thinking, we don't have to show off all the time, but Punjabi music makes me want to move, then I see you and I'm here for you. Welcome to Think Pungra.